Madge. Oh, wow. Some authentic bear fur. Authentic bear fur. Bidding starts at £1 million. You can bid for some bear fur. Bidding starts 1 million. Do I have a bid for 1.5 million? Because that's authentic. Imagine having that in your food. You'll have hairball. Bear fur. Yeah, it's a bit knotted there, I can see. A little bit knotted. He must have scratched out. I need to give him a brush. Oh. Need to give him a brush. That's what I find fascinating. That's what I find fascinating. Bubbles. Where's my bubble machine? Oh, I can't use the bubble machine in here. Too many electronics. Oh, you look at a bubble, but it's a bubble's a certain size. It depends on what it is. Little fragments of dust floating around. It's like sound. If it would make a sound, it's very silent. It's very, 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 very silent. But listening to some of those movies last night, movies are rubbish. They are rubbish. Because if you haven't got enough encoder, decoder, channeling, that movie is going to be sounding a load of rubbish. Right down to Foley artists. I think they waste a lot of their talent most of the time because they think they got talent. I can train the chimpanzee to do that sort of thing, and then those Foley artists, they can go and work for Burger King for $1 an hour flipping burgers because they're wasting my listening time. They sound crap on these. They sound crap on 3-screen speaker. They sound even more crap on 5-screen. 5-screen, which is an outdated screen channel from the late 1950s, hasn't improved. So what? Two height channels, you get all these height ones. It's a decision where to put these things, but they're a load of rubbish because you got speaker here, 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 and here, and some height channel up there behind the screen, or you can move them out away from the screen and put them on the ceiling. But then the sound image content, the sound of it doesn't match the continuity of the visual image. Sometimes it's completely out of place. And then you got that, and you got all this gaps in between the sound speakers, lots of gaps. You don't hear that in reality. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. If I started noticing that, I would really think I have been taken over by invasion of the body snatchers and something's out of place. I think there's some gigantic conspiracy going on, and I'll be out on a crusade. But film mixes, you got to really know what to look for, what to listen for in a movie, what to feel for as well. Because a lot of these movies are absolutely appalling. I think sound designer, that is just an overrated thing. Ben Burt's Star Wars, God almighty, that Star Wars Laserdisc last night, the AC3 97 version, absolutely awful. John Williams music sounded rubbish. Oh dear. Because every now and then on the stereo surrounds on that AC3, you hear the sound coming on and then going off, going on. I can hear it. If I had a mixing console in front of me, yeah, they're bringing that down, up that. They got it like they Samsung sound. They got it like the fader at a very tiny little level, and it's going into the encoder, getting all recorded and that, and then of course you play it on the decode, and I'm hearing all these little flaws. It sounds like a test print version of the 90 which is a load of rubbish, by the way. In fact, I even think the original Star Wars is a load of rubbish, especially even now listening in Dolby Stereo Matrix on the original, because the music, the John Williams music, sounds rubbish. Because it's like you hear there's not a difference. You can't really do much with a Matrix. You could probably filter it or something, do something, and then encode it in through to the, so it goes on. So when it's played back on the decoder, it's going to sound a little bit more different on the mono matrix surround. But if it's discrete, that's absolute load of rubbish, because it sounds like the same music that I'm listening up on front. It's like a cheap quadraphonic, very poor cheap quadraphonic, and it just does my ears in, because it should be, in a film sense, it should be have a discrete tone of musical instruments in the surround, and the front should be just about as much as it can be, but it's not. It's just not enough screen speaker, because then you're just compromising how much you can, it's why a mono film mix, from what I read, it costs a little bit more or a bit more time to mix it than another Dolby stereo mix, because you've got just mono there, and you've got to put the layering of Foley, footsteps and all that, and clothes ruffling or stupid sound effects and music blending, etc., dialogue, and get the continuity. So if someone's in a hallway, you got to make it sound like they're in a hallway or in a house or something, and then they go into another room, you got to make that sound like they're going into another room. But when it plays back in all this Dolby stereo, load of rubbish. All the bloody dialogue's in the center. It doesn't, people are not coming into a room and you hear their footsteps and the voices out in the hallway slightly sounding different. So if you've got a hallway over here with a door and this is a room, and then you hear the sound of the acoustical sound of the hallway because it's echoey, and then they gradually walk out of that into the room, and then it's got a different texture of sound because of there's not much reflection due to the room, and the Foley as well. The footsteps should all follow as well, but footsteps on films in movies and all these woke Dolby Atmos rubbish and DDSX and Limax rubbish that you hear at the cinema, at home, even on my system, because the actual equipment itself is a load of rubbish. It sounds like actors have got a fucking shoe in their mouth. Who the fuck walks around like and talks like that, for fuck's sake? Does my head in this day and age. And I can just think, wow, if I was an engineer, I would say, like Tom Holman, he looked at the whole state of things decades ago, and it was a complete mess. He hasn't really brought anything new. He wanted to do his own 10-point whatever sound system, but looking at the layout of the speakers, load of rubbish. Sorry, Tom, but Don't take it personally. It's just flawed, and it will be a waste of my listening time at the end of the day, because I want to come into the home and get away from the reality that's outside, or even the reality of my own room. Because, well, if I get my little Geo speaker, I can't really play it over the thing, because I've got to get the pink noise from somewhere else. Otherwise, something gets overrided. But rustling my hand, you take your hand. And do it very slowly. You hear it all in between, all these little gaps. It's not like doing it there and then doing it there and then doing it there, like a typical left, center, right. I would call it a common, because it is a common left, center, right. I got an uncommon 5 screen, so not many home cinemas use that. But like I say, at the end of the day, it's rubbish. It can only do what is mixed into it, or who's clever enough. Because when I hear half center phantom sound in the center, and it's a little bit over on the left, a little bit over, it doesn't work. It's like a jigsaw puzzle with the wrong pieces, and it doesn't fit in. Because I'm noticing the gaps. You can move the speakers, your center's there. You can move the left and right and get this, this, unless it's very carefully crafted and engineered and mixed, so that you can hear all the details without straining or without thinking, is the EQ levels wrong? Or is it the acoustics of the room? No, it's not the acoustics of the room, because you can take that mix or whatever, put it on headphones, because they're not going to be disturbed by room acoustic. And then you can play that center phantom that's playing on equal left and right, and you've got a control where you can actually bring that center channel down or mute it, and you can hear the left or right. Yeah, I can hear the details there of that Top Gun. They're coming into the shower room. I can hear these other people now talking. Yep, I can hear the Iceman. He gets his zip, he goes on the stage on the left over there, but it's not in the center channel. It's a little bit more over on the left discreetly, but the loudness in the center is too loud. It's too loud, and it causes frequency masking effects, and it doesn't work. Even Top Gun's a load of rubbish. It's an overrated movie as far as I'm concerned now. You can turn down the levels on it, you can EQ it, put filters on, try and fix it, try and make it, but you then have problems then with that guy that wants more butt, and he's yelling in the center. And then the camera starts doing a pan when on the next shot where someone's walking, but their Foley sound is more like there in the center when it should be walking very gently, and then step by step, and then kind of coming into the center, and then filtering out a little bit down on the, so you don't get this this nice hair combing filter effect. It just doesn't work. And you get the guy yelling. His modulation on his frequency sounds a little bit different. And then he goes into the center, and then he exits. I want more but he's got a half center phantom sound in the center as he's exiting off screen. I want more but it doesn't work. And I don't understand why dialogue pan that guy in the movie. It doesn't make sense when everything should be directional dialogue. They use a little bit of dialogue pan or whatever in Top Gun Maverick, very little. Bulk of it is mostly in the center. They use a few little stupid scenes when they're in airplanes and that, and the dialogue's over this way a little bit, or maybe there, but very little. It's a dreadful movie. And as for that Star Wars 97 Laserdisc, oh my God. Oh, that was just fucking awful last night. That was awful. But the surround channel was absolutely dreadful. God, if that's what it sounded like on the DTS down at Tower Park, fucking hell. Oh, because it's got to be the same mix, isn't it? It's absolutely dreadful. You got the Death Star when Luke and Leia are running away from the stormtroopers and then go, whoa, we made a wrong turn. As they're running through the corridor, sort of thing like this, zigzagging around the corridor. And you got the Death Star suddenly coming in on the surround going, and as they coming up, whoa, look, we made a wrong turn. And that sound, that fades down a little bit. What? That's the fucking Death Star. It's a galactical battle station of the universe, and suddenly that interior noise, whatever, that's reverberating because it's all connected and it's all coupled and so forth. It just drops down in the sound mix, and I think, I think I just can only point the finger at, say, maybe Ben Burton, thinking, what is he smoking? That's dreadful. That's amateur. That's beyond amateur. I think there's better people can mix better than that on YouTube. And it was doing this fading up and down. I can hear it in the surrounds. It was, oh dear. George Lucas, the man who brought you American Graffiti, now brings you an adventure, unlike boring. I'm completely taken out of the picture. THX, if you were distracted by or something distracted you, please call this number. Yeah, I'll call that number all right. If it's, I'll call that number because the sound mixing is awful. It's not an opinion. It is just awful. To win an Academy Award or I don't know what the 70mm sound mix would sound like, but if it sounds anything like that, oh my goodness, awful. And okay, move away from the boring, overrated Star Wars. Glory on UHD 4K, load of rubbish. It's just like they're taking, I don't even think they're taking the stem tracks or using the actual sound. I think what they're doing is filtering, doing some sort of filtering and crossovering or something cheap, and then putting it onto a computer file. And then at a certain point, they'll just play that in one of these speakers up there. And it doesn't sound right. It sounds so synthetic. It sounds, well, actually, I'd rather listen to a plastic bag. I'd rather get a plastic bag, and I'll go and get a fucking plastic bag because I'd rather listen to a fucking plastic bag. I mean, what I fucking say. When I say I'll get a fucking plastic fucking bag, I'll get a fucking plastic fucking bag. Make that sound. Because it's more over there. But if I got two plastic bags, I'll go and get a second one. Make sure it's the same, so I have the same characteristic. Two plastic bags. I think Bear's interested. You interested, Bear? I think he's interested. See? Even Bear. Cats have been around longer than we have. He's got billions of years of evolution, and that's why they've got better hearing. So if I do one there, I hear it a little bit slightly here. Now that, do both of them. It sounds kind of whooshy stereo. Yeah, it's very complex sort of thing. Yeah, plastic bags, wow. There's some mono here. I'm not sure what it's going to sound like because it doesn't record the two microphones on this, but it only records mono, dual mono, I guess, or maybe only one microphone works, I don't know. Wow, that's better than a whole Star Wars movie. Wow, don't need the Mary Sue. Wow, that's better than Mary Sue. Wow, that's incredible. Plastic fucking bags, who would have thought of that? If you got time to do mixing, for a movie, that movie should really, in reality, should not take months. It should maybe take a year or year and a half to just mix the sound for it, because it's all fabricated and such. You film it, and then you got crap film editors that shouldn't even be anywhere near it. It's like, how are you going to tell this story or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Star Wars is a load of crap. It's like all jump editing, cutting in this angle, that, and it's not like something that's with a camera that can actually follow the movement, like you see in a video, like a crappy video game. A lot of all these crappy video games, and and you're going through corridors and you're moving around and all this sort of thing. It's almost better than a bloody movie, because it's not jump cutting from one scene to over, like boom there, that boom there, boom there. It's not doing all that crap. How can you bloody put sound editing to that crap? It doesn't match. It's out of like, fucking hell. I mean, Gravity, the film Gravity, I'll probably give it I mean, as it is with the Atmos, it's kind of almost okay. It's still, if I give it a lot more thorough listening, I'm going to notice a lot more flaws in that film mix, because where speakers are located, typically located, and they're gaps in between, not just gaps, but if you got a speaker fitted in a box and it's over there and there, slightly in the box, mid-range or tweeters, and they got to be more or less close together, sort of thing. So they you can move the sound, flow the sound out from here over to there, just like the plastic bag. Two plastic bag there, set apart, and then bring them together, and then do both of them at the same time. Yeah, I can hear the sound. If I had my little Geo speaker and put another Geo next to it playing pink noise, it will sound like, but the speakers will still be set apart by a tiny inch or so. So unless they're kind of very near, and you're flowing sound from there to there to there to there to there to there to there, it's like say the microphone. You play pink noise, and you just move that microphone gradually, horizontally, because this is going slew. This is slewing, right? That's slewing. So it's in that position there, but when I bring it over to here, it's not exactly going along in the same horizontal tracking position. It's kind of doing this sort of thing while it's slewing. It's got to track along steadily. And then you look at the frequency, or you listen to it, the pink noise, and just do that. And just go very slowly, and you can hear the sound of the bass on the pink noise, or the HF sound on the pink noise, and you can hear. I can hear gaps in the sound. Everyone's going to hear the same thing on their system. Doesn't matter how good their system is, because you could spend $1 million. And yes, I'm still looking at someone's room and there are gaps in between. You can't just duplicate the same stereo. It's got to be discrete with instruments and such. Otherwise, it'll just sound like, well, it sounds kind of very wide-ish, putting all speakers, loads of speakers together in a box, vertical. There are lots of those around, and mostly sometimes they're sat on the floor, and it's only so high, or sometimes well, it's cheap really just to go buy some MDF, get the teal small parameter and all that computer bullshit, build a box, and basically have speakers that go from literally start from the floor almost, working all the way up. They could be bass coaxial speaker. So they've got no mid-range tweeter, they're literally, and that's just going to play pink noise, but it's going to sound like, you walk up to it and you think, and you go up and you crouch down, it sounds the same, and go up a little bit, it sounds the same, but not across the width of the room. There are gaps, and it's just not going to sound right. It's not like put on headphones. Oh yeah, take them off, listen to two speakers, two stereo speakers. Doesn't sound right. Okay, what do I need to do? Is it the acoustics? Oh, I think I'll call Anthony Granani. Oh yeah, it's the acoustics. Oh yeah, you got to spend about $500,000 and you get it all spot on and sounding acoustically correct. Yeah, $500,000. That sounds like a lot of money. Sounds like you're greedy. I'll hang up the phone on you now because you're boring me. Fuck off. No, it's not the acoustics. Acoustics. It's the room. It's the boundaries. They just squash. They compress the sound, amplify it. They do several things. They either squash the sound or compress it or expand it a little bit. And then you take it outside, it's the complete opposite, but it's still a loudspeaker. But then you marvel at how miraculous the real life sound is outside versus a recorded sound like a Star Wars, Ben Burt, overrated Dolby mix. And you think, oh, damn, this real life is way better. Why can't they do this on film? But they haven't got enough channels to mix with, have they? That screen, my projection screen should have, how many speakers? I can't use cinema ones because they won't fit. They're too large. I've got to go to maybe tiny little JBL Control 1. Or maybe that other JBL speaker they made. I think it's called a JBL Micro. It's kind of full range. Didn't have a tweeter. It's more like a full range speaker, but I don't know how high up in the frequency range it went. Or how good the frequency response on it was. Is it measured very flat, kind of almost, if the microphone's close to the speaker? Does it measure flat within plus or minus 0.5 dB from the lowest to the highest? But it's not possible to play the very low lows But that's not true, because if you keep adding, have a small speaker, providing it's got a good excursion on it. Okay, excursion, that's important, so it can move back and forth. Otherwise, it'll only reproduce so much, and if you try and overdo it, you'll break it. It'll get broken. But if it had a good excursion for a tiny speaker, it's only going to put out a certain sound pressure. But the more of those speakers you put, those tiny speakers you put behind my projection screen, if I did that, loads going from the width to the height, the whole damn thing will be one speaker baffle, just like those PA ones that you see, and they call it whatever. With all those little speakers and with the excursion limit that it can move, and when it's all turned on with bass and that, it would sound like the whole screen is playing bass. Pink noise, it's all set up. Okay, now it needs to be individually mixed with someone's got to mix something to play atmospheric sound, so it completely, wow, if I stood up near to that screen, wow, sounds like being outdoors. But it's still a speaker, but it's like, wow, that's better than 3 screen, that's better than 5 screen, wow, that's better than Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos is now a dinosaur. And sound can move literally. Sound of a seagull, if it's in a camera shot and you see it flying, you hear it up there in this position, and then it may swoop down and come down in this direction, because then it can do that, rather than you hear the sound of a seagull in the center channel and it may pan over to there, but you get a half center and it doesn't sound right. It sounds so artificial. Like I say, 2 plastic bags set aside, bring them together, do another one, sound level increases, thus even in that tiny narrow space there I can hear it's kind of whooshing, stereo, reflection, time arrival. Yeah, you listen to some crap bloody movies today, oh fucking hell, they are absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. Nothing has changed. The screen speakers are outdated from the late 1950s for the 5 screen, 70mm 5 screen wide channel. They're outdated. That's why THX was doing all that shit then back in the 1980s. Nothing's changed in speaker design for 35 years or blah, blah, blah. All they've improved is on frequency response. That's all they've done. And a baffle wall. But still, the speakers, you stand near to those projections, the projection screen, and it sounds so fucking artificial. You stand away from it, it sounds okay. To a trained listener like myself, I think, fucking hell, there's still fucking gaps between that fucking screen channel. And I move this way, and I'm hearing this. What the fuck is that sound I'm hearing? Yeah, it's the comb. It's the hair combing your hair filter effect. Don't touch my hair. Don't touch my hair. You know, it's that bloody nonsense. It just doesn't sound right. You can play pink noise on 2 loudspeakers, put them together, and they literally got to be the drivers. Put them near to each other, because if they're in a box, the box is so wide and the speakers there in the middle, so you've got about an inch or a few inches, and then you add the next box, then you're adding more inches of gap. In reality, there are no gaps in this fucking sound field, unless there is something, an obstacle in the way that's doing that. Otherwise, I step out fucking side. I don't hear any of that crap. Fuck, it vexes me. I'm angry. I'm Mr. Angry, Mr. Sound Angry, because I pursue for the truth, but it's not going to happen in my lifetime or your lifetime. It can happen, literally before the end of this no year. But they're lazy ass people out there. Oh, they brag about how many net worth their company is that they work for, and they haven't even Dolby Labs. You're a load of rubbish, Dolby Labs. Your Atmos is crap. Crap Moss. And DDS and all the other crap. They're all the same. They're all the same crap. Waste of my listening time. And it doesn't need to be rich, luxurious for rich, snobby people. Because you think, oh gosh, you got a rich car and you're wearing a crappy rich watch. Fucking hell. How accurate is it? Oh, actually, it's a little off. Actually, oh well, that shows, doesn't it? I just can't. Yeah, fucking hell, Vex. I don't think everybody is interested in this sort of shit. You know, it's like you could be a rich snob, and maybe not interested in some type of subject. I can't think of one. I can't think of one. But typically, they're so common with sport cars, luxurious food at restaurants, and they're poor people outside living in cardboard boxes, barely afford that bloody meal they're just eating. But the funny thing is, they're going to be crapping it out their arsehole within about a couple of hours. So you think, wow, that was an expensive crap. Think about it. I'm laughing my ass off in my seat. It's true. It's absolutely 100% true. You know? If a shark ate a rich person and think, wow, that was a rich meal, that shark's going to be crapping out its ass within so many hours. I don't know when, but, you know. And then the other fish come along and eat it. And they think, wow, that was expensive crap. It's true. It's absolutely true. That's why I eat cheap food. As long as it's got fibers and vitamins and all that in it, it's okay. You don't have to go to expensive restaurants and buy a spaghetti bolognese that costs $200 or £200. That's absurd. In the kitchen, the pasta they probably got from fucking they probably got it from fucking Asda store for about £1. Oh, it's like the Blues Brothers. You know, the scene in the Blues Brothers. Come on, seriously, guys. The food here is really expensive. The soup is fucking $10. Whoa, soup? A can of what? Soup? Is that the whole can of a can of soup in my bowl there, or is it only half of a can? Actually, it comes in large catering tins. It does, so it comes in large catering cans. So they put the wasset in there, and they take so much of it out when they're boiling it, heating it up, and they just put the wasset and just pour that in. Boop. There's your fucking soup for fucking $10. Oh dear. It's absolutely true. And we're the only ones that have made this the way it is. And most of us at the time, we have to bite our fucking tongue and put up with it. I say get mad as hell. Get mad as hell and don't take it anymore. Because rich people, they do it to themselves. They put down poor people. Poor people don't really put down other poor people because we're in the same boat. Kind of. It's absurd. All this luxury shit. Luxury. Fucking hell. So is that Storm luxury? Is a Trinov luxury? Is a how come rich people haven't bought themselves a Dolby CP850? and a professional DTS cinema decoder sort of thing, and the Oro professional decoder sort of thing. I mean, there are some, but others where they just put the whole thing in one box, and yeah, it can only do so much. How come they haven't bought themselves that? I don't understand. I was looking at a DTS. I think it was a DTS XD10, but that uses caddy discs. I thought it had a discrete mode for working with optical input, so it can work with like the DCS CAD Professional number 5. I thought it was something like that, but no, it's totally different. They got another one which is part of a Datasat. I think it's made 2014. It's called an AP20, and it's got a touchscreen. I like that, the touchscreen thing, because I would have thought for a Storm Audio that would have been a touchscreen. Fucking laptop's fucking touchscreen. I've got 2 laptops that are touchscreen. No, actually 3. One needs to be absolutely fixed somehow, because I think it's just a little bit more than the battery. It's something else that's kind of failed. It's probably a resistor or something, because it's not getting the voltage through. So it can only be down to maybe a kind of capacitor or a resistor. It's only 2 things that possibly failed, and they just need fixing. But most people, they don't want to fix it for me. I want to pay them to fix it for me, but they don't want to fix it. What the fuck is wrong with people today? They say it's not worth fixing. There's a conspiracy. I go to a computer shop. I say, I've got a laptop at home, a Chromebook. Right, I need it repaired because it's not getting power. I tried a new battery on it. That failed. So it's got to be something like a capacitor or a resistor, and that needs to be located with the service manual. Locate that, test it with the test equipment to see if it's got an open circuit. If it's closed, then it's okay. If it's open, it's failed. But they don't want to fix it. Fucking hell. I don't believe that. I might as well fucking do it myself, but I don't have much experience. I've got 0 hours. So did they when they first started. When these people started, they had 0 hours. I got no idea. And all they've learned that over the years. No years. Yeah, they learned all that shit. And I'll go to it and they just don't want to be asked to fix it. I guess they don't need the money then, do they? Fucking hell. I might as well take it to a fucking drug dealer and say, hey, can you fix this? Yeah, sure, man. Do you want some grass or weed or something? No. Just fix the Chromebook, please. Thank you. Sure, man. I'm high, man. I might as well take it to someone that's hungry enough. Because some people, after so many years, they get restless and they think, I've been doing this for bloody 30, 40 years. I'm getting bit restless now with it, you know. I think time to retire, that sort of thing, and let someone else take over that's hungry, until they may one day think, I'm getting bored with doing this, time to retire. Or I still enjoy it. They say to themselves, I still enjoy doing it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, like, that Top Gun was rubbish. Fucking hell. I might as well watch a movie in mono. Or watch a movie, but listen to the soundtrack in mono. And I can even picture where all the sound is in a mono mix. I know where all the sound should be placed if it was multi-speaker literally behind that screen. But how long is a piece of string? If string can make a sound, you tighten it up, tighten that string up. Yeah, I can tighten the string up in front of that projection screen, in front of it, tighten loads of bits of string, literally. So I've got one bit of string coming down here, and then I put the next one literally next to it like that, like I take my finger, and then just keep doing that literally the whole way across that screen. And then I could probably go up to it and move my fingers across it, and it's going to make a sound. It'll make a different sound in the middle. It'll go a little bit lower down. It makes a different pitch because of the tension of the string, and then go up, and it up towards the top of the screen. It should make the same sound, similar to where it is down here in the bottom, but in the middle it makes a different sound. And that's how it should be, like bits of string. And string is cheap. String is cheap. So I could have string going literally all over that projection screen, literally side by side by side, and it's all tight. And then I rub my finger and it makes a sound. Actually, I've got the projection screen and move my hand across the projection screen. It makes a sound. But when you got the stupid speakers behind it, they only sound over there or there or there or there or there. And there's so many other gaps all around it. And it's like, fucking hell, how can I fucking watch these crappy, rubbish movie soundtracks? Because, oh dear, I think mixers are wasting their life. They're wasting their life. Sat hours, so many meters away from the screen. If they were a little bit more nearer to those yeah, they're going to notice how flawed it sounds. And I don't think much can be done here now, because it's obviously clear that these old fart people, like in the AES, Audio Engineering Society, or the Cinema Audio Society, all those old farts have made up their mind. But eventually, they're going to be like the dinosaur. If not, they already are the dinosaur. Most of the time, I don't know why I do reaction watching a movie and listening to this and that, and then I can hear so many bad mistakes in it. Yeah, so if I go up to the projection screen, I've got that on. Can I come off the voltage there? That's charged up. You won't hear it on the recording here because of the microphone crappy sensitivity and the crappy YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. What is that? That's got to be a net worth in the trillions, isn't it? Surely. Oh yeah, center bar there. I'm going to have to get this center bar moved. That's a little bit better. It was a little bit pushed up too close to the wasser, and it's tapping against one of the HF horn up at the top, not the bass drive. But yeah. Anyway, wow, that sound. Wow. If I had speakers behind there making that, I would be very thoroughly fucking impressed. Because even if I'm standing back, like I said it so many fucking times in my videos, if you've got two people, or even two plastic bags, and I rustle them, and I bring it a little bit nearer, I hear it a little bit louder, but a little bit more. Like that. I hear it a little bit more stereo-ish when it's nearer to me. The further away, it sounds like fucking mono. It's fucking laws of physics, which cannot be fucking fooled. if I look out the window and I see two people across the road, I hear echo reflections outside, but their voices, even though one person's there and the other person's over there, they're talking. If I go across the road and observe and listen, I'll hear the voice there and voice there. And the further I step away, then their voice goes from, and it sounds like that. And all I hear is reflection echoes, but don't sound like, because they sound like the same echo reflection. I could just, all I have to do is put my head out the window and go, woo! And I would hear the echo reflection moving at the speed of sound. Even though it's kind of moist outside, it's a bit overcast, cloudy. I think it's due for rain. And you're hearing traffic moving around, so you're hearing a lot of the actual vehicle on the road surface, the engine block that's underneath the engine. That sound mostly is raw, different underneath the vehicle because it's all open, and you've got the bonnet on top, and that confines most of the engine sound, confining it inside. But it's getting, and then you got the wheels, you got the shaft driving the wheel thing, and oh crikey, there's so many things there. With the physics of law, nature, and when it pisses down, and the road surface is all wet and moist, and you got traffic going across, fucking hell, it is fucking loud. It's unbearable. It's so fucking loud. You don't want to listen to that in a fucking movie, especially when the sound mix is crap and it doesn't sound like traffic is flowing, moving around. Sounds mostly, sometimes it's like when the camera's looking and you see the camera looking at an angle and traffic's coming like this way, but you don't really hear a lot of it panning into the surround. And if it does, it doesn't sound like the front. It sounds like it sounds like a big car there, and then once it gets into the bloody surround, it sounds like one of those little fucking Matchbox fucking toys. And what the fuck is the car doing up there? When you see the continuity, the sound of it here, and it goes and it pans and it goes up, fucking hell, has it gone up on a fucking hill or something? Or is it maybe a Back to the Future fucking car? It's grown fucking wings and it's suddenly fucking now fucking flying. Doesn't make sense. Who the fuck mixes fucking films like that? The surround speakers are completely outdated. They are literally outdated from probably maybe the 1940s with fucking Fantas fucking sound. Nothing's fucking changed. Overhead speakers. That's been done in the 1960s. Blow surround. Where the fuck is that? I've got speakers down here, to do a matrix blow, but where's the actual discrete version? Doesn't exist. Maybe at a theme park, but that's easy. There are lots of mixing things, digital things out there. You can put sound onto a file and then deliver discrete, in theme parks. But it's they keep it not secret. They don't talk about it much, but it's, oh dear. Plastic bags, just rustle that. If I rustle it there, it sounds there, and move it there, and move it there. And then whatever, fucking hell. Pink noise, fucking hell. I step in the kitchen, it sounds completely different, the opposite from my room, because it's a bit reflective. Go into a room that's absorbed. Although it's not 100%, because there are still objects, surfaces around that are reflective. But it's about better than most. Oh, that's better. That's better. Even George Lucas's dubbing stage, or all that, I don't know how many screening George Lucas rooms he's got. He's got a few screening rooms, and I listen to the room, and I think, I hate that echo. I fucking hate it. It sounds awful. You put all this layers of dialogue track. You ADR it, so it's been ADR'd. It's okay. So it's very dry and neutral, and then now you can put something. You can put that onto a reverberation device with echo or whatever. You can manipulate it a little bit, because you got the raw dialogue as it is. In the ADR room where they record it, it's probably better sounding than George Lucas's other room, where there's a bit of an echo in it. It sounds like 1.5 second long or something. I don't want to hear that crap. If they put echo on music today, there's a lot of crap music around today, or there is a lot of crap. There is a lot of crap music out there that use too much echo, and then the vocals, you can't understand a single word they're saying. You think, well, I'll Google this and see if they've got the lyrics. Oh yeah, all right, that's what they're saying. You listen to it again, just a couple of seconds. It's like, that still sounds unintelligible. Billie Eilish, it sounds like she's got a dildo in her pussy. Who the fucking sings like that? She's overrated. Seriously, overrated. I don't listen to her crap music because I can't understand the vocal. It's unintelligible. I put something like Shirley Bassey on, or Lulu, my man with the golden gun, dun, 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 dun. That is nicely mixed and produced because I can understand the lyrics. I don't want to listen to competition where it's been masked too much by the instrumental. I can hear the thing over here. Tying it, that's a little bit loose, that. Woo! Woo! Ah! Loosen it in a little way and then it'll reverberate. Woo! Yeah, a little bit there. It's getting the right angle on it, and then the sound whoosh goes in and then comes back at that panel on the inside and presses against it and makes it tingle, makes it kind of reverberation. Kind of like my belching. Can't believe the temperature's 23.9 yet. I'm so Mr. Angry. Fucking crap. If it's making me ill, why don't I just get rid of it? and give it to someone, sell it to someone else and make them ill. Because believe me, if I can make you listen, you will listen. You'll go and watch that fucking movie again. You'll disconnect that center channel, because unless you can got a system where you can just mute it. So this is an ideal room, I think. This is bloody ideal. Because it's just like a mixing console with being in front of me. And it's got faders. Well, there's a fucking small one. That's a tiny one, and that's another one there, and that's simple. But you look at mixing consoles, all they are modules, and they just click in if they fit in position, and take that out, put another. That's why if a mixing console fucks up and fails or breaks down, you can take the module out that's failed and put a brand new one in, because it's all, you can undo it all. Um, Mixing consoles were really made for the music industry, but they found their way eventually adopted into the film industry because they had better control. But um, still, the sound mixers sound crap when I think about it now. Star Wars Last Night, 97, Laserdisc AC3. Oh my God, fucking awful. I don't want to talk about it again. That AC3 mix was absolutely appalling, especially when they run up Luke and Leia through the corridors. Whoa, looks like we made a wrong turn here. And the echo sound of Luke Skywalker on the surround, it sounds like his voice more close up with a very faint little bit of echo, and it's ghastly. Put on the 2000 edition DVD version, it echoes a little bit, and the voice is kind of in the center. But where you look at everything on screen, the angle, because it's like looking down. They're down here, sort of thing, and the echoes, in that void of, because it's very reflective on the Death Star. I think maybe if they put absorbent material all around it, they'll dampen down that echo of that bloody Death Star. But oh my goodness, the other sound where on the AC3 where they're running around, you got the Death Star going sound, and think, oh yeah, and then suddenly I can hear it. I can hear the mixers bringing the bloody faders down, and then I can hear the fader sounding like it's right at the bottom there, but it's turned up just a fraction because I can hear very faintly the John Williams music score in the surround, even though it's on front. And then at some point, suddenly they just bring it up. Oh my God, what is Ben Burt smoking? Gary Rydstrom and all that. I think they're overrated. I think they're just overrated. Saving Private Ryan, load of rubbish, that sound mix. Terminator, load of rubbish sound mix. Because they don't put you in the picture, they take you out of the bloody talk. They take me out of the story. Dialogue voices and all that in a bar scene. I want your boots, your clothes, your sunglasses, and your fucking motorbike. Hey man, you're not taking my motorbike. I'm taking your motorbike. No, man, not the motorbike. No, not my motorbike. That bar scene should have the same dialogue voices that you hear sometimes on the front, and they should be at the same loudness in the surround. So they're moving around, the same loudness. So it sounds like I'm in a bar, kind of. But you still can't, at the end of the day, bring a speaker of a sound of a voice or whatever and bring it this near. Because then, what the fuck? I've got speakers fucking all. It's intimidating. It just wouldn't work. Or you could have a scene in a movie where it says, please pick up your small speaker beside your small speakers beside your chair and wave them around. So you got speakers, then you can wave them around like it's nearby you. Okay, now we're changing the scene now. Put them down. It'd be like smell-o-vision. You have sense the sound more near to you, sort of thing. Fucking hell, the film industry's a disaster with fucking film sound. It is a disaster. Oh dear. I'd rather listen to the audience in the auditorium than the film soundtrack. It sounds more realistic, especially when it's in a scene in a movie, like, say, take Gremlins, where all the Gremlins are in a cinema. I think most of the loudness or sound of those Gremlins is a little bit too forward, or the mix level and the timbre matching, and it doesn't match. And plus, there are gaps in the sound field because you can see where they're all located in the seats. That's why I put little speakers on the back of these seats. But I'm going to make a Mark II version because the Dayton Puck is okay, but it's got some limitations. So I might improve it. Trial and error. You know, how many different type of little speaker would I have to go to? Maybe I'll get some JBL Go3, because when I think about how much a JBL Go3 is, the only problem is it would need modified the power on it, because it'll have to can't have a constant power source input. Can't just charge it up and then turn them on, because the eventually the batteries will run down or the charge will run down. So, but as it goes, I would have to make a modification so I can screw the speaker to the seat with a bit of rubber. And well, actually, it's got a bit of rubber. I'll go and grab it, because I think it's a remarkable fucking cheap. I use it quite a lot. I use it quite a lot for a testing experiment. It's fucking amazing. So I'm going to get an order in a moment, Magic. I'm going to get a delivery. Can after doing delivery. I mean, this fucking JBL. Okay, a Dayton puck is almost equivalent to the size, but that is a pretty, it's a bit of rubber there, sort of thing. So it's a bit tough there. So I'd probably put a little something else absorbed, so it's cracking this open. Oh dear. Oh dear. So I think I wouldn't do that, but this is a remarkable little mono speaker. And there are many others, like other manufacturers that make their own, but they're almost similar. The more things change, the more they remain the same. But this, I think, was £27. 27. I think the pucks were maybe a little more, maybe about 50, maybe £47, I think. Maybe 37, maybe 37 at the very least. But that was, and it's got an amplifier in it and everything. The puck doesn't have any of that. So all we'll have to do is have something like this or something equivalent. And I can fit that to the seat, because it will give a good bass vibration into the seat, almost better than the puck, even though I can get a bass vibration from the puck in this seat. And also the puck itself is just the thing, has an adhesive on it, or you could put an extra bit of spray glue on it and then stick it, so you get a good firm stuck on there, sort of thing, so it can move and sound full range sound. Wow, those pucks are pretty impressive. Even this is impressive. I played a sine wave tone on it, and I can hold it at this distance. I can just about hear 16,000 kilohertz, and then go down 14,000. Oh yeah, I can hear the pitch 13, 12, and so on, and getting down to 10. It sounds like it's getting a little bit loudish now. Get down to 9. Yeah. Oh, I've got to lower the volume down on it now, because it's getting near to 8 kilohertz, and it's going to be too loud because of our hearing roll off. But that's pretty impressive. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying, for that size, that's pretty impressive. If they made a speaker like that back in the 1920s, if they made that in the 1920s for the Vitaphone, they would have just had that behind the bloody screen, and you can just put a baffle round it or something to improve the bass range just a little bit, and maybe the angle, middle range, dispersion, but high frequency, very high. Yeah, you're not going to notice it when it's pretty far back, but still pretty impressive. It's JBL Jedi Blaster lightsabers. That's why Tom Holman selected JBL because it's the Jedi Knight and it's black. Darth Vader would use that. Does it come in black? Yes, Mr. Wayne, it does come in black. Just bat lovely, you know, the bee, just bat lovely. And it does come in black, Mr. Wayne. Actually, it comes in pink for Barbie as well. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive little speaker. Press it on. Da 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 do. Turn it off. Da da da. Turn it off. Shaka boom. Shaka ka. Shaka ka. I highly recommend it. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. No, I'm being a kind of shill like most of those YouTubers now. Pretty impressive, especially when you hold it in the bass and you can feel it. Feel the power of the force in my hand. You don't know the power of the JBL Geo3. No! Yeah. Impressive. Someone told me it's a little bass or full range speaker with a passive one inside. That's why it has a good bass on it. But it's only restricted, limited down to about, I think roughly about 70 hertz. So when it starts to get into 60 and 50, forget about it, because it's, you know, you can play a very low level and put a microphone near to it and then observe the frequency just dropping off. But that doesn't mean the thing is still moving. I don't know if it's got a passive crossover filter on this or some digital DSP, because I'm not sure of the electronics inside it. But it's only 4 watt. It's only 4 watts. 4 watt that. Bloody hell. I could just power my JBL professional cinema speaker with this bloody thing. I'll just undo it, connect the wires to, and but I don't know what the impedance would be like. So, and yes, this does have a bit of hiss on it. When I actually turn it on, I'll turn the volume up on it. I go dun dun dun. I can't hear any hiss as it is at the moment because there's nothing going into it. It's got some sort of, when it's connected to some source or something, if I put a video on mute or something, I can still hear some hiss because it's connected in some way, and I can hear a very faint bit of hiss if I put it very close. But as it is, I can't. Just turn that, just make sure. I'll just fade that down there. So I can see the fader level going down on the computer here. No, it's quiet. It's quiet. It's only when I had this connected to some source on the internet, and I thought, I can hear that sine wave tone. Plus, is that a little bit of hiss I can hear? And I mute the sound generator, stop the sound generator online because the little sound generator. It's a hiss and a kind of buzzing sound as well, because of the way it's connected all digitally, electronically to the. But still, that's pretty quiet when it's that far away. You ain't gonna notice it until you put it up close. Shaka boom, shaka ka. You still here? It's over. Go away. Go home. And that's that. Shaka.